Hello everyone. Welcome to History class for class 7. Take out your history and civics book. Take out the previous lesson which we had started, lesson number 6, the Delhi Sultanate 3. Take out page number 61 of the same lesson. Topics that we had discussed in the previous videos: introduction, administrative system of the Delhi Sultanate, art and architecture in the Sultanate period, socio-culture development. In this, we had discussed literature, languages, educational centers, and music. Let's recall the terms which we had discussed: treatise, vernacular, lingua franca, flourish, fusion, evolution, exceptional. Today we will discuss the following topic: socio-culture development. In this, we will discuss religion, the Bhakti movement, the Sufi movement, and the reasons of the decline of the Delhi Sultanate. The objectives of today's topic are to understand how Islam religion spread in the Sultanate period, to understand about the true prominent religious trends in the Sultanate period, the Bhakti saints and the Sufi saints' contribution in the development and the promotion of music, to know about the important and the famous Bhakti and the Sufi saints in the Sultanate period. Introduction of the topic. The Bhakti movement and the Sufi movement both were the religious movements spread all over the parts of India. The Bhakti movement was spread in north and south directions. The movement rebelled against the caste system and complex rituals. According to Bhakti saints, caste system was not required to attain salvation, mukti. The Bhakti movement based on the philosophy of one God, whereas Sufi movement was started in the early centuries of Islam. Sufi saints preached the spiritual path to union of soul with God through devotion and love. Sufi saints against the luxurious life, showing of wealth and power, distress on the simple life and oneness of God. The Bhakti and the Sufi saints preached the message of simplicity and love. The Bhakti saints and the Sufi saints also contributed to the development and promotion of the music. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Mirabai expressed their bhakti through devotional hymns. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was famous for his love for meditation, he was the propagator of Krishna Bhakti in the different states. Mirabai, she was a devotee of Sri Krishna. She sang the hymns or songs in praise of Lord Krishna. Hymns means religious songs. Religious song. Mardana, a disciple. Disciple means followers of Guru Nanak, also popularized devotional singing. Guru Nanak Dev Ji, who was the founder of Sikhism, he did 4 udasis in 4 different directions with his disciple Mardana. Mardana was also known as Bala Mardana. Guru Nanak Dev Ji sang devotional song with Bala Mardana. He preached the oneness of God with Mardana. Religion. During the Sultanate period, Islam made rapid progress. There were 2 prominent religious trends. Students, here Islam spread so rapidly because Islam principles were based on oneness of God, brotherhood and equality. They were not having any complex rituals and caste systems. That was the reason Islam attracted more the lower caste folks. The Bhakti movement. The Bhakti movement had its roots in the principles of Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita. Both are the religious texts of Hinduism. The Bhakti refers to devotion to Supreme God. The Bhakti movement had its roots in the principles of Upanishad and Bhagavad Gita. At that time, Hinduism had complex ritual, rigid caste system. The lower caste or the Shudras were not allowed to go to the temples. Brahmins made the rituals more complex. The Bhakti challenged those rituals as they believed in devotion of God. The Bhakti saints focused on social and religious equality. Let's read this topic. Ramanuja. Now here Ramanuja. Ramanuja was South Indian reformer. He preached the principles of love and devotion to Brahma, creator of the universe. He and his followers preached that a person can get God by love and devotion. They declared that fasts, bathing in rivers, worship of idols would not help a person in obtaining salvation. They spread the message of love, brotherhood, and devotion to God. Ramanuja, AD 1060-1118, the great South Indian reformer. Reformer means a person who brings good changes in the society. Had preached the doctrine. Doctrine means a belief or a principle of love and devotion to Brahma. Brahma, God of creation. A number of saints followed him and declared that a person can realize God irrespective of caste and creed by means of love and devotion. They laid emphasis on oneness of God. They declared that pilgrimages means journey for religious belief, Tirth Yatra, fast, upvas, bathing in rivers, worship of idols, Murti Puja, caste were of no help in obtaining salvation. The message of mutual love and brotherhood paved the way for better and truer understanding between Hinduism and Islam. In this paragraph, student, Ramanuja was a South Indian reformer. He preached the principles of love and devotion to God. He and his followers preached that a person can get God by love and devotion. They declared that fast, upvas, bathing in river, they were meaningless. If a person wants salvation, they should follow the path of love and devotion to God. Right? The prominent, important Bhakti saints were Ramananda, Kabir, Guru Nanak, and Mirabai. We have already studied extra knowledge about Guru Nanak and Mirabai. Let's see about Ramananda and Kabir. Swami Ramananda was a strong and successful meditator for Bhakti in the second half of 14th century. He preached the essence of religion according to his thoughts and spread awareness regarding religion. Kabir was a follower of Ramananda, first to preach the Hindu-Muslim unity and harmony. He propagated the religious facts through verses, dohes and sakhis. He preached Sahib, Allah, Khuda, Ram, Brahma, etc. were different names given to God by the people, but God is supreme, God is one. The Sufi movement came into existence in the early centuries of Islam. Sufi laid stress on seeking salvation through concentrated devotion and love for God. Sufis followed the path of Prophet Muhammad. Prophet Muhammad was the founder of Islam. Sufi movement. Sufism came into existence in the early centuries of Islam. It is a spiritual path to mystical. Mystical, a belief in union of God with soul. Sufis laid stress on seeking salvation through concentrated devotion, love for God by following His command. Means, the Islam was spread in the early centuries in India. Sufis believed, they preached that God can be only reached through meditation, love and devotion. We need to follow the command of a God, Allah, to reach the salvation, mukti. Sufi followed the example of Prophet Muhammad. Prophet Muhammad was the founder of Islam. He was born at Makkah in AD 570. He declared himself to be the messenger of God. The Prophet Muhammad preached that Allah, single God, should be worshipped. His worship involved simple rituals and moral principles. So all the Sufi saints consider Prophet Muhammad as a perfect human being. Prophet Muhammad,
whom the Sufis considers as perfect human being. Sufism developed into a movement by 11th century AD. The Sufis started to organize communities around the Khangas. What is Khangas? Khangas, a place where Sufi saints lived. Also students, Khangas were the rest houses for the religious travelers. Khangas comprised several rooms and a big hall called Jamaat Khana. Kanga became a center where people discussed their worldly problems. These Kangas were controlled by Murshid or the teacher. Sheikh, religious teacher or teaching master, Peer or Murshid. Sheikh was called as Peer or Murshid. Around the 12th century AD, Sufi silsilas. What is silsilas? And a continuous link between Peer and Murid. A continuous link between a teacher and a student began to form in different regions of Islamic world. Student, the silsilas was named after their founders. Qadir Silsila was named after the Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani, and Chishti Silsila was named after its founder, Muinuddin Chishti. Muinuddin Chishti and his followers were together called the Chishti Silsila. Silsilas were named after a founding figure. Founders, for example, the Qadir Silsila order was named after Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani. On the other hand, Chishti Silsila was named after its place of origin, the town of Chist in central Afghanistan, or on the name of Muinuddin Chishti. Muinuddin Chishti and his followers were together called Chishti Silsila. Some leading Sufi saints were Muinuddin Chishti, Baba Farid, Nizamuddin Aulia.
The reasons for the decline of the Delhi Sultanate. The Delhi Sultanate lasted for nearly 326 years in India. The Turkof Khan rule came to an end in India in 1526, but the process of decline of the Delhi Sultanate had started much earlier. Its decline started in the reign of Muhammad bin Tughlaq, but it got full speed in the reigns of Sayyid and the Lodi Sultans. Let's read the topic now. Reasons for the decline of the Delhi Sultanate. The Delhi Sultanate AD 1206-1526 lasted for nearly 320 years. The ingredient of its decline virtually set in during the reigns of Muhammad bin Tughlaq and Firoz Tughlaq. The process of decline got pace during the reigns of Sayyid Sultans and Lodi Sultans. The Battle of Panipat AD 1526, fought between Babur and Ibrahim Lodi, sealed the fate. Fate means control of the Lodi dynasty once for all, finally. Student, in this paragraph, the Delhi Sultanate lasted for nearly 326 years in India. The Turkof Khan rule came to an end in India in 1526, but the process of decline had started much earlier. Its decline started in the reign of Muhammad bin Tughlaq, but it got full speed in the reigns of Sayyids and Lodi. Following were the main reason for the decline of the Delhi Sultanate. Muhammad bin Tughlaq inherited. Inherited means legal right to receive the rank or a property of a person after the person's death. A vast empire, vast means large, but he failed to keep an effective control over it. As you know, student, Muhammad bin Tughlaq got a large empire in the Virasat. He was a very learned person. As Sultan, he came with many reforms for welfare of the people. Unfortunately, all the experiments were failed due to poor execution, like taxation in Doab, transfer of capital from Delhi to Daulatabad. He failed to control over the large empire. The process of disintegration accelerated during the reign of Firoz Tughlaq. After the death of Firoz Tughlaq, the Sultanate of Delhi began to break down. Most of the provinces declared their independence. The Sultanate was confined to the areas around Delhi and the Punjab. The invasion of Timur, AD 1398, gave a death blow to Tughlaq dynasty. The final blow to the Tughlaq dynasty was after the invasion of Timur. Timur was the Mongol leader of Samarkand in Central Asia. He invaded India and plundered enormous wealth. He murdered thousands of people and made hundreds of people prisoners. Delhi was almost depopulated at that time. That leads to the end of the Tughlaq dynasty. After the fall of the Tughlaq dynasty, India was divided up into the number of independent states. After the fall of Tughlaq dynasty, empire was confined only in the areas of Delhi and Punjab. India was divided into independent kingdom like Vijayanagar kingdom of south. There was no hereditary. Hereditary means generation to generation from father to son. Principle of succession which caused several problems every now and then. Every now and then means from time to time. From time to time. Okay student, there were no law of succession in the Delhi Sultanate. It was not hereditary, means father to son. After the death of a king, who would be the next king to the throne, was not confirmed. That created lot of problem from time to time. Ibrahim Lodi was politically immature and lacked strategic far-sightedness. Means Ibrahim Lodi was politically immature. He dealt with the senior nobles harshly and replaced them with young nobles. The senior nobles joined the hands with the Babur, who defeated and killed Ibrahim Lodi in the first battle of Panipat. According to Dr. Ishwari Prasad, the first battle of Panipat placed the empire of Delhi in the Babur's hand. The power of Lodi dynasty was scattered to pieces. At last, the first battle of Panipat placed the empire as a gift in the Babur's hand. That was the end of the Delhi Sultanate. And it was the beginning of Mughal Empire in India. Now students, I hope you understood the topic. Now you will do some related exercise and learn the complete new terms. Do exercise number 1, 7, 8, 9, 10. Exercise 2, 4, 5. Exercise 3, 4, 5. And 4th complete on the book. I hope you understood and you will able to solve some exercises and question answers by yourself. Thank you.